Tim, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Steve.
What college did you pick to go to?
Texas A&M.
Whoop, gig 'em.
Gig 'em, baby.
Why A&M?
It's the best college in the nation.
I know, that's
Best
what we
college
believe.
in the nation.
No, but truly, why A&M?
Well, it's it's one of the larger universities in Texas.
Absolutely.
Huge research university.
Yes.
And my goal was to get an engineering degree.
Sure.
So
In what?
I started out wanting to do mechanical engineering.
Okay, so originally ME.
Originally ME. Took all the classes. Wasn't really for me. I wanted to do business. Took business for about a year. Did all basic accounting classes, all that kind of stuff. And then I found out I kind of miss all the technical side of this.
Right.
So I wanted to go back into engineering.
Right.
And I actually ended up in industrial distribution,
Cool.
which is kind of a hybrid major between engineering and business.
Yes.
But it's more on the technical side.
Right.
So it's pretty good.
No, I
pretty
thought it was
good fit
interesting.
for me.
There are a lot of classes in the industrial engineering side I would have loved to take. A lot of the optimization classes are awesome. And I go like, man, I really got into that. I kind of wish I had more of that. But I wasn't an industrial engineer. I was petroleum. But still, there are a lot of these optimization classes. Those are really cool.
Yeah.
Neat stuff. And kind of a practical bent to it.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So you got industrial, you get out, and then what? Was it kind of different when you got out? Or were you glad to get out?
Out of school?
Yeah.
I love Texas A&M. Of course, I missed it a little bit. The schedule, you can't beat a college schedule.
No, you can't.
You plan your classes when you want. If you want a part-time job,
Yes.
you get it. If you want to work, you can.
Right.
You have so much freedom that it's awesome. All your friends are in town.
Sure, absolutely.
Everybody's in the same place. So, of course, there's benefits to leaving and there's, benefits to staying.
Right.
And unfortunately, none of the benefits of staying get you ahead in life. So, it's bittersweet and there's, pros and cons to it. But, I'm happy I'm out. I'm doing well. I got a really good job. Just working on the next step of life. So,
well, what was the biggest adjustment leaving A&M?
I'd say waking up at the same time every single morning.
That sucks.
Yeah. I'm a morning person too, but it's just the whole fact where it's like, before your schedule didn't matter what time you went to bed.
No.
You could stay up till 2 a.m. and
That's right.
you could wake up at 10 a.m. You could go to bed at 9
Exactly.
and you could still wake up at 10 a.m.
Right.
And now it's like you're waking up. Well, I wake up at 5:30 a.m.
Right.
And I try to hit the gym before work,
Right.
and then I go do my day, and then
Sure.
whatever happens after work. But to hit that goal to wake
Right.
up every morning, it's like try to be in bed by 10 or 10:30.
I know.
And then get six and a half hours of sleep, and then start over again.
I used to remember watching my dad do that and go like, why does he have to go to bed so early? And now I understand.
Yeah.
I guess I was thinking more about the social life because, when you're in school, there's the social component. It's really, you meet people from all different disciplines, all different backgrounds, although obviously being a conservative school like A&M, which I also went to, there's less of that, but even still, you meet different kinds of folks. But when you get out, it's all different. It's not as diverse a population.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people you don't get to meet, and especially if you're working, it's kind of like a lot of people you don't meet. So how do you meet people outside of work? Because that can be difficult too.
Yeah, well, like you said, at Texas A&M, you're meeting people from, international.
Exactly.
They're studying here from, Germany or
Right.
Australia or anything
Exactly.
like that. So you are getting exposure to all that kind of stuff. Here, I have a lot of friends in Houston.
Right.
I've my main close group of friends, probably about 3 or 4
Right.
guys that I trust with my life.
Right.
And, we'll go out, we'll go socialize.
Sure,
We'll go
yeah.
out to happy hours down in, Midtown Washington.
Right.
Anything like that. They have Aggie happy hours all the
Sure,
time.
sure.
So you go there and you always run into people from college. So,
Right.
you go out, you see them, and then they're back either in Houston with, friends that they had from Houston.
Right.
Or new friends from college.
Sure.
And then you're also running into old friends from high school
Of course.
that have new friends from college. And I meet a lot of people that way.
Right.
I guess just networking through my friends.
Right.
That's probably how I meet most of the people I know
Right.
is through somebody else.
Sure.
On the rare occasion I do meet completely new people.
Right.
That it's just hey, I was just chilling, we were talking, watching a football game, and
Right.
start talking about Aggies or Longhorns or beat the hell out of
T-Sips,
UT,
right?
You know? Yeah.
Although it's kind of lost that meaning now that we don't ever play anymore.
Yeah, ever since we got into the SEC.
I know.
It's not as fun. But
it's all about money, yeah. Yeah, because then we don't have that. I mean, even the Aggie Warham, we don't even play them anymore.
I mean, it has, Longhorns in there. And it's,
I know. It's like, what does that have to do with things? Or even Bonfire. See, I remember fondly, fondly, all the time we had Bonfire. I think it's coming down our way. I think we should move back.
Yeah, Bonfire must have been a lot of fun. I wish I could have actually gone to the Bonfire when I was on campus.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Like I said, it really was an engineering feat, and it needed to be treated that way. And sometimes, people got a little careless.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, some people had to lose their lives for it to be, okay, guys, maybe we need to take, but it would be nice if it could come back in some form.
Well, it actually is. I mean, off campus.
Oh,
I don't know if you've heard about it, but so freshman year, one of my best friends, he lived in Walton.
Yeah.
One of my best friends, Matt. It's a North Side dorm at Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And it's Walton, FHK. There's a few other dorms that participate in it, but they do a build off campus, and they actually build a bonfire still.
How big?
And
how big do they go?
I don't know how it's 60, 70 feet.
So it's about the same.
It's probably about the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Massive. Okay, so they have these kids out there, every single day after school. These kids are serious about it.
Oh no, it's a serious endeavor.
They're out there building this. Okay, so you have probably a couple hundred kids out there.
Right.
You have red pots.
Right.
Other pots, I forgot all of them, but you have engineers out there.
So is it an engineer structured now? I mean, do they? It's like Zachary engineer. I remember they said this really needs to be an engineer structure. People say it's just a bonfire. No, it needs to be done right.
It's incredible how big this thing is. If you haven't seen the Aggie bonfire, you need to go see it.
Oh my goodness,
it's incredible. Just seeing how big the logs are that they're putting on there.
It's awesome.
So, but I actually went out there and helped with a couple builds. And I mean, you're out there and these guys, I mean, you get 20 guys on a log and, lift it up. Everybody's carrying this log on their shoulders. And I mean, placing
repeat it several hundred, several thousand times.
Where they can lift it. Yeah. And it's, so they do have it off campus, but
they do.
I feel like it'd be really exciting and you'd have a lot more participation if it was still right on campus.
Oh, it would be. I remember being stupid enough. I don't know why. It was one of those muddy days. We're having bonfire, and I wore white pants.
Ooh.
I never got the dirt out of those white pants.
Yeah, those are done.
They're done. Not gonna hurt that one. But oh man, it was an awesome feeling and camaraderie, that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
great time. Well, I'm glad. So it does continue.
Yes, sir. It's just off campus. It's not associated with Texas A&M.
Right.
But it's still there. Right. So,
do you ever go back?
Oh yeah, I go back once in a while. Right now, my parents have a townhome up there that
they do.
Yeah. Well, we're working on selling it or renting it. We're not sure yet, but yeah. So I've been up there working on it, and I'll go hit up the chicken, play around a pool, or I have a couple of friends once in a while. Last year we went up to a couple of games and hung out, kicked it, but yeah, I mean, not as much as I'd like to. It's fun to get back there, the old stomping grounds,
Sure it is. And it does change over time, too. You said, as your friends kind of move on and stuff like that. Absolutely. So, now that you're in the Houston area, what is it that you do here?
Well, I work for Carrier,
the
air conditioning company. I'm in outside sales, and I sell all the commercial air conditioning equipment.
Yep.
So, all the chillers, air handlers, rooftop units.
Right.
Whatever you need over 25 tons, I sell it. So you need an air conditioner. Call me.
But it sounds like you want to do some other. You've got lots of ambitions for different ideas and stuff like that. I remember you and Michael were talking about a little bit about search engine optimization and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
How did you get into that? Yeah.
Well, okay. So, kind of funny story. While I was in college, I was living with two guys. One was my best friend.
Sure.
I found him on Craigslist a couple years before.
What?
Yeah. No.
What exactly are you looking on Craigslist?
Okay. All right. So, I finished freshman year, and I was trying to get a little bit ahead for the engineering stuff. So I took a couple classes at Blinn.
Right.
I was taking I think it was just Physics 1.
Right. Okay.
Physics 1 and Cal 2.
Sure.
All right. And so I needed a place to stay.
Right.
And they don't have just summer leases at apartments in College Station.
No.
So I had to find something on Craigslist, and I subleased from a guy who lived with a guy whose name was Nima. And so I move in with this guy, don't know him. He has a dog.
Right.
It's pretty cool. His name's Mufasa. And we end up, being best friends. So after the next year, he was like, hey, you want to live together?
Right.
And we do. So the guy that he called in to be our roommate actually owned a few sites, was making money on it. He was making money while we lived together. And then after we moved out, he got a job doing really well at like an SEO firm in Dallas.
Really?
And after that, he branched off and started coaching SEO, doing a bunch of SEO on his own for his own clients. And during that process, he started to make a lot of money. And, I contacted him. I was like, hey, it's kind of interesting. And, I wasn't too serious about it at the time. This was 2013, I think, when I contacted him. And he gave me access to one of his courses, kind of check it out. And it was really interesting to me. So I checked it out, and I've kind of been dibble-dabbling in it for the past couple of years. Mm-hmm. And I guess I probably got really serious about it the past year.
Right.
And really following up, and I'm starting to get some clients and working with them, ranking their websites. And, that's my main goal, is to be doing, internet marketing full time. And I want to turn it into a full-blown marketing firm.
Wow.
Have something like that, and then venture out, see what other opportunities are out there.
As long as you love do what you do, that's what that's the kind of stuff you want to do. If I think about it, very few people really get to do what they love doing as a passion.
Yes, sir.
Right? Just because it doesn't pay.
Yes.
And not to be all mercenary, but we got to pay our bills. It's that simple, right? And as long as you can get past that, then you can do all kinds of wonderful things. You just want to be don't want to be rich, but we want to be able to live, comfortably,
yes,
right?
Sir.
Not have to worry about how you're going to pay your mortgage or that kind of stuff. Once you get past that, then you can have a lot of fun doing stuff. Yeah. But if you can have fun doing that as well.
Yes, yeah. And I think this is really interesting. It keeps me interested, and, there's a lot of opportunity with it. And it's
absolutely.
Pretty cool. So I guess back to the main point, my old roommate kind of, I learned about it through him and saw that it was actually, possible to make money online.
Right.
Just kind of learned through him. And then I've joined some other groups since then, and invested a little more in myself. But that's how I got into it. So
neat. Yeah, well, how did you meet Sarah? You sound like you've been busy. I don't know how you've been down in time to date.
I mean, I'm pretty busy. Ask her. I mean, she's like, "Why are you working so much?" And I mean, I go work from 7 to 5 at Carrier, and then I come home and I try to
get more work.
Yeah, I try to take care of all that, and I mean, I make time to hang out with her and make sure that we get to go out and do things.
Right.
But I mean, it is busy, so I have a full schedule, and I mean, if I'm not doing anything, I should be doing something, and that's all I'm thinking about. So
is there a time? How do you decompress?
Okay. So I actually bought a new dirt bike last week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got a nice little YZ250, a 2-stroke, and I hadn't been riding in a while, but I grew up racing motocross. I raced motocross for about 5 years. And,
so how did you get into that?
Well, I mean, I've always loved dirt bikes. My dad grew up around motorcycles, and we had friends that owned motorcycle shops. We were friends with Mr. Turbo. He used to have the world record for the fastest man alive on a motorcycle. And he has his turbo shop down here in Houston. And, so I've been around it my whole life. So I've loved motorcycles, and I've always wanted a dirt bike and wanted to go ride. And I just, we'd ask my dad, we'd be like, yeah, can we get a dirt bike? And he'd be like, no, it's like too dangerous, too much money, all that kind of stuff. Did he do it when
he was a kid?
He rode motorcycles, yeah. Well, because his neighbor, one of the ones he used to build race engines for Team Suzuki.
Right.
He raced professional flat track.
Right.
And he would take my dad around to Daytona with him and all that stuff. And he always had bikes that my dad could ride.
Right.
So my dad grew up riding, and I don't know if he ever raced competitively, but he was around all the guys that did, and he was definitely around it. So that's kind of, I guess, how I was more involved with it. I've been around motorcycles my whole life, and one day, and I think it was 5th grade, the only thing I put on my birthday list was a dirt bike. Yeah, I figured, if they can't get me anything else, I might have a better chance. And we bought one from a kid down the street. Used one to see if I liked it, and took from there.
And how was your mom with this?
I think she was okay with it until the injuries started coming in. And once I had like my first bad injury, she kind of like slowed down a little bit, but I kept on racing, and ended up I had one really bad wreck. I broke like 5 bones. I broke like my face, my elbow. I think I broke my foot, my wrist, maybe. I don't even remember. But I broke a lot of bones, and I had to go to the hospital. I was. I had a homecoming date, okay, and homecoming was like the next week, all right? So check this out. I didn't tell my mom I had a homecoming date or anybody.
Okay.
I don't know. I was just a little nervous. I was like, should I tell? Yeah. So I didn't have a mom maid or anything like that. So I think I was going to tell my mom like the next day, but I was too out of it to, really worry about anything but healing up. And so her and her best friend come to the door and bring me like a get well gift and bring the garter.
Yes.
The garter for me. And my mom's like, you had a homecoming date? And I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't tell you about that. And so my mom's just racing to get this mum put together overnight. She goes to Hobby Lobby and buys everything and makes a beautiful mum. But
even that's come a long way. It used to be very simple. You went to the flower store, you bought a little mum, maybe it cost $20-$30 in that. Now they're super elaborate.
Oh yeah, they're huge.
Goodness.
They're like the size of a pizza. It's crazy.
I remember, and even back then, when I did this back in the 80s, I remember one guy decided for their homecoming, going out to dinner. I guess he had a pilot's license, so they flew from Dallas. It was, 2 couples, and they flew down to Galveston for dinner and then came back. And to me, that was pretty elaborate. But now when I hear some of the things that go on for a homecoming, it just blows me away. Like how much money is spent on dresses and food.
Some of these kids they're spending like $500 on a homecoming dress.
They're
in like
absolutely.
9th grade.
I know.
It's crazy.
It's incredible how much money gets spent. I'm sure the florists love it. I'm sure.
It keeps them in business, right?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, really. So what got you out of it? You did it for about 5 years.
Yeah, so it was that last wreck where I broke a bunch of bones and, just, I guess, probably medical bills came into play. And I think my mom just didn't want to see me hurt.
But you healed up pretty well, right?
Yeah, I healed up. I mean, I had some pins in my arm and, stuff. But, it's just, they didn't want to see me get hurt like that again.
Of course. So. Did you play any other sports?
Yeah, well, I grew up swimming competitively. I swam year-round in not high school, elementary school. And then once I got into motocross, I didn't swim as much. I only swam summer league for the neighborhood. Yeah. It's a little bit more fun, not as competitive.
Sure.
And, I always did really well there. And then after when I got to high school, they didn't have swimming in middle school. So once I got to high school, I joined the swim team.
Right.
And I swam and played water polo there. And I ended up going to state in high school senior year for swimming. But
so what was your favorite stroke?
Well, I really do love backstroke, and that used to be my best stroke.
Yeah.
But I broke my hand on the wall.
Ooh.
So after that, I guess it was in my head. I was just always too scared to go into that wall. Yeah. And I just slowed down after that. And never really swam that stroke the same again. So after that, I was definitely a freestyler.
Right.
Yeah. So
do you watching the Olympics? You're kind of watching, all the kind of the records that they kind of see.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, I could do that.
Yeah. I look at them. I don't say I can do that. I wish I could do that. That'd be amazing to go to the Olympics. But no. Yeah, I'm watching Michael Phelps and Lockley, and it's it's just amazing. And we have I think we have quite a few Aggies actually this year going to the Olympics. I just saw the list this morning.
Right.
I think we have 7 Aggies going for swimming alone, and I think we have like 27 in the Olympics total.
Incredible.
So, yeah, no, I watch these guys, and I'm like, that's awesome. And I'm just I'm glad Phelps has gone back. He's had his, ups and downs in the media, but I still respect the guy. The guy's
he's done incredible
put more work in than almost anybody ever will.
Oh, no, absolutely.
If you hadn't ever swam, to put that much work in a pool is dedication.
Oh my goodness. So, I look at the times, I'm just in awe because, when we were back, when cane pool still existed at A&M, there'd be the time that I do, which was awful. And then we'd have what we call barracudas. And those are the people that could really swim well. They're not on the swim team, but they were good. And they could lap you 2 or 3 times every time you lap them into. And it's just smooth as all get out. They were a machine. They were a machine. That's why we call them barracudas. I admire them. But, hey, it was good exercise for me, and it served its purpose, but I, wasn't any good at it. But it was a great way to pass, lunchtime, go do a lap swim, whatever.
It's a great exercise. So.
Oh, yeah.
Probably the best workout you can get. So.
Absolutely. So, you were in swimming.
Yes, sir.
When you go to college, did you continue swimming or no?
No, I didn't. I just, once I got to college, I focused on school and just kind of social life, hanging out with friends, going out, you know. Had a good time, and didn't really have time to swim. If I did, I probably would have had to try a little bit harder before I applied to college and tried to get on a college team or something like that. But I don't think we had a intramural swim team. They had an intramural swim meet, and I participated in those, but that's only one day a year.
Sure.
So I participated in those because I was still, a better swimmer than most people, but not competitively, really.
Right.
So, yeah.
So you're really driven. I can tell that, but of all the things that you're working on. But we're back to, how do you spend your leisure time?
Well, lately I'm in the CCA fishing tournament, which is Coastal Conservation Association, I believe. And they have prizes, and I really need a truck since I got that dirt bike now. So they catch some redfish and they tag them and they let them go in all the bays. And this tournament, it's up and down the Texas coast. Right. And the first 5 people to catch a tagged redfish won a boat and a truck.
Whoa!
Yeah, a brand new F-150, and I think it's a 22-foot boat for the first 5. Right. And then the next 5 just won a 19-foot fishing boat. And then there's also, categories for largest flounder, gaff top, sheep's head, and a trout. Right. So, I've been trying to get down there. Me and Sarah go down to Tiki, and we'll go fish off. She has a place down there, and fish off the dock or, whatever. Just try to catch one of those redfish. Try to catch a boat.
Well, I could never take fishing, I guess, because to me it takes a lot of patience. So how do you approach? What is your approach to fishing?
Just hope for the big one, Just hope for the big one.
But there's all this time in between. You're hoping for the big one.
I don't know. I think it's just fun. I don't get to be outside as much as I'd like since I'm, working full time now. Yeah. And I don't care what anyone says. Full time jobs, they rob you of so much time that you could be spending, just bicycling or whatever you want. I think I just enjoy being outside. Yeah. Just not having to talk to anyone, not having to, answer a phone or an email. Right. Just kind of being in the water and having an excuse not to be connected to anything. Yeah. And I think that's enjoyable. Yeah. So, I guess I said I would wake up every morning at 5:30 and work out. I guess that's probably where I, let all my stress out.
Oh, really? Yeah, well, what happens when you get to midday? I used to like to work out at midday because if I got stressed out in the morning, I could take it out during lunch, and then I was good for the afternoon. Well, but if you do it early, it's great. You get it out of the way. But what happens if you get stressed out in the morning?
I don't know. Well, I don't really think I hold stress too.
Well, that's good.
That bad. I don't think I'm that bad about holding stress. Yeah. So if I get stressed out, I'm stressed out until I finish whatever it is that's causing the stress, and then I feel like I do a pretty good job of managing that. But it's just I need to get it out of the way in the morning because that way the rest of the day, work and then whatever comes up after work. Sure. I'm free to take to that, and that way I still have my workout in. Right. So, but lunch doesn't really work for me. I like to shower after I work out and, go through the rest of the day for that.
Takes a while. So, if you go through that whole, routine,
Yes, sir.
There's the warm up, or maybe you don't do that. I needed to do it after a while. Then there's the workout, and then there's the cool down because you can't just shower immediately. Yeah.
You got to cool down. You don't want to go jump in the shower all sweaty. Yeah. Yeah. So,
what would your ideal job? What would that be?
race car driver.
Race car driver.
Race car driver.
Why?
Well, okay. If you had to ask me this like 10 years ago, I'd say professional motocross racer.
Of course, yes.
But professional motocross racers are usually ages, 16, 17 to about 24, 25.
That's it.
And then you have the guys that ride a little bit longer to their 30s. Yeah. But that's like prime age. And now I'd say race car driver for sure. I love racing things. I love anything with an engine. I mean, whether it's a gas-powered RC car, dirt bikes, cars, bicycles. I mean, it doesn't have an engine, but anything that you can race, I just love racing. Right. So I like to be number one. So
you're into the racing, not necessarily like the working on the engine necessarily. I'm not sure you could do that, but
no, I love working on the engines. I mean, on my 2-stroke dirt bikes, I worked on them all the time. I don't have too much experience working on the 4-strokes, but I mean, I work on cars and engines and stuff like that. Like I totaled it was our 96 Tahoe on the way back from, I think it was Easter break or something, back to college one year, and my punishment was I had to fix it because I mean it was totaled by insurance, but it wasn't technically totaled. Right. So I had to replace the whole front clip. So I basically ripped it all off, changed the fan clutch, everything, found a front clip in a junkyard that I could replace it with, went and got it painted, fixed up, and replaced the whole thing. And, we still have a great truck. I mean, nothing touched the frame. Right. It's perfect condition. But I spent about, 2.5, 3 weeks doing all that. So I'm mechanically inclined. I like to work on things. And, rebuilding a 2-stroke engine, we can do that if you need to. But I mean, I like working on them when I have time. And, I still want to learn more and get it. Yeah. If I had more time, I would definitely do that. Wow. So, yeah.
Well, there's definitely the skill to that. I mean, I worked on engines. Not that I was any good at it, but I worked on engines when you could get into the engine compartment. Oh, yeah. Like the cars of the 60s and 70s. So much room. Yeah. Now there's so much crap on a car. I mean, I remember a mechanic, coming and complaining you couldn't take the battery out because you had to take all this other stuff out before you could even get to a battery. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. That's why I like that Tahoe. You open it up, you can reach under the engine. Exactly. And get something out if you have to. Yeah. But I mean, I drive a Volkswagen now, and I was helping my friend. I forgot what we were changing on his Jaguar, but we had to. It was in the front behind the grill, and if it was on my Tahoe, I could have got to it no problem. It'd be like quick change, 30 minutes. Right. But instead, we had to take off all these guards, take off this, take off, like intake manifold, get behind it, and it just wasn't worth it. Wasn't fun, No. So I like to pick what I work on. Yes. I wouldn't want to have to work on everything. Right. There's some things that I would definitely pay to take to the shop. Yeah. Let someone else deal with that. So
I remember a guy at A&M who was our mechanic, and he was really good. They owned a little shop. I think it was C&L Tire, probably still there. And but there were certain things even he wouldn't work on. So if you got to a transmission, because I don't trust anybody with a transmission. I don't even work. It's like, whoa, and this is the guy who knows about cars. Yeah. Any place you want to travel to?
Fiji.
Fiji. What's
or Australia? Well, so I'm pretty big into, I guess, extreme sports. Yes. I don't know if you can tell, but motocross, racing, all this stuff. I really like surfing. I'm not very good at it,
but you enjoy it.
I love watching it. I love going to the places where people have surfed and still surf. Right. And there's, I've only seen it on TV. Right. It just looks incredible. It's a break called Cloud Break. Yes. In Fiji, and it just looks like a powerful wave. Right. It just looks insane, and these guys go out there and I just want to see people ride it, Right. I mean, it's an awesome island.
Of course,
you get out there, beautiful water, all this other stuff. But I want to go see that, and I love islands. I love being by the beach. My goal is to end up on the beach somewhere.
Oh my goodness.
So
I see Tim on the beach with his laptop. And it's time to go hit the circle with the waves. You go hit the waves. You do that for a while. You come back, answer a few calls, do a little more.
Yeah. That's the life,
Oh my goodness.
Something low stress, you know.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
End up on the beach, enjoy yourself, get a little sun once in a while. You know.
And yes, we've had a little bit of sun.
drink a little rum, you know, whatever. Enjoy yourself.
Australia's pretty awesome too. I have to admit.
I've never been. My mom was actually a foreign exchange student there in high school for a year. So, so I actually have some kind of like family over there. I have some friends. They're like, you know, they're close.
Yes.
I've only met them a few times, but I mean, they've got my mom's back, and they've come and visited us here in the United States.
Yeah.
So I know them, but yeah. So my mom's been over there. She said it was great.
Yeah.
I want to go there. There's great surf there also.
Oh yeah.
A lot of sharks.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I think it'd be really cool to go to Australia also.
It's a really long flight.
Oh, I bet.
Been there, done that. Yeah. And in fact, I used to take the flight quite routinely from LA to Brisbane. That's the Gold Coast area, that kind of stuff. And it's beautiful. And that's direct. It's is it 12:45 flight? It's at least 13 hours.
Oh, okay.
And I know why Qantas is the safest airline around, because at the drop of a hat, they'll turn that plane around.
Really?
Yeah. And
I didn't even know about that.
So, you know, they've never had a crash, right?
Okay.
Safest airline in the world. Never had a crash. But, you know, we're taking off from Brisbane, and this has happened more than once. And 4 hours into a 12-hour flight,
no
pilot comes on. I'm sorry, you know, we've got fill in the blank problems. You know, the wheel won't pull up, one engine is out, whatever, and we have to turn around. So 8 hours later, you end up at the place that just started.
That's
horrible. That's horrible. Passengers, you know.
Oh my gosh.
In fact, one time, we had to turn around. They explained, you know, we don't have an operations base, maintenance base in Hawaii, so we can't land there, going to LA. So we're going back to Sydney. And I'm like, oh, you know, everybody's going just grumbling. I said, you know what? This is the only time I'm ever going to miss. I'm going to see the Sydney Opera House, even if it's for 30 seconds. So we get there, you know, it's midnight, and a bunch of, you know, disgruntled passengers. We're going to get on another plane. So in the morning, I get the text that says, first, we're going to the airport, but before that, we're going to pass by the Sydney Opera House. Okay.
Nice.
So we passed by, and they're doing construction, so you can't even take a real decent picture. But anyway, I was going to say I was there. I went there, took my picture. All right, take me to the airport. Great people, weird sense of humor, sense of humor, but they are friendly as all get out. Love the fight, but it just takes so freaking long to get there.
I've been on those plane flights. I flew to China. Actually, I think it was the inaugural flight from San Francisco to Chengdu, China.
What were you doing that for?
It was a study abroad for industrial distribution at Texas A&M.
Cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But I know about long flights, and if you're not, it gets uncomfortable. Yeah. You know, so.
Mostly you just sleep and eat. It's pretty much all you can do. You can watch some movies. Movie, sleep, and eat. Repeat the cycle again and again and again until you get there. Yeah.
Pretty much. Luckily, I was on one of those brand new Dreamliners.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know if it was free or just because it was the inaugural flight. But we had free television, free, you know, everything. Right. And it wasn't too bad.
No, so, really, it's not too bad. There are certain tricks you got to get, you know, get past you going there. I would do from, I guess there's a Houston to Singapore flight goes through Moscow. And it's perfect because it's exactly 10 hours to Moscow and then 10 hours to Singapore. It breaks up the flight when I see. Although I hate the Moscow airports. Those are awful. You know, the guy, he got stuck there, whatever his name is. I don't know how he would have made it because that airport is awful.
Really?
Yes. I don't know how he did that. He was there, 9+ months?
I don't know.
In the airport? Forget it. I couldn't stand it for a few hours, much less how many months we're talking about. Yeah. So how long were you there?
I was there for 3 weeks. We were working with a company on a project. We were working with a Brentag. They sell specialty chemicals. Yeah, and they're a specialty chemicals distributor. And we were working with them. It was cool. We got to go to like the Dow headquarters where they do all the R&D. You know, producing stuff for everyday stuff that you use. You know, deodorants, foods. You know, Fritos kind of things. Yep. And got to see a lot. We got to work with billion-dollar companies in China, go sit in their conference rooms with their CEO, presidents, vice presidents, and really got to see how, business worked over there. And it was really cool to see. And I mean, China's an interesting place. It's very interesting. That was cool, though. Very good experience.
Oh, no, Michael loved it there. He had we've spent, 3.5 weeks there as part of I would say an exchange, but it wasn't. It's part of the Confucius program that they have a lot of different colleges.
Okay.
Mostly funded by the Chinese government.
Awesome.
And think about this, right? This is the cheapest form of advertisement you ever do. They pay for most of your trip over there, but if you have a good time, guess what? You're going to tell everybody. So it's great advertisement. So why wouldn't you do that? And that's what they would do.
Yeah, so that's
actually,
good.
when he did, actually had to pay a little bit. I think it was like a whopping $700 for 3.5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Everything taken care of.
Yeah.
I think now it's completely free.
Oh, nice.
Again, it's subsidized by the
awesome.
government, but it's a PR thing, absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
just like any international exchange program is. So he'd go back in a heartbeat.
Nice. Yeah, I would too. It's a fun place.
Yeah.
Gombe.
Where else would you go?
Fiji. I'd go to. I was talking to someone. I want to go to Isle of Man. I want to see that race.
Isle of Man.
I want to go to Isle of Man. See that street bike race. It's just, one of the most grueling races. It is the most grueling race ever known to man.
Interesting.
You know about that race?
No,
right?
but Isle of Man has it has different reputations. It's known as this almost like a Switzerland. It's like, if you want to offshore your money, that was one place you could do it. So I didn't even know about the race. So
it's the craziest race in the world. I don't know the details,
right?
But they closed down like the whole city,
right?
And this is professional street bike, racers, and they closed down the public roads, and it's a race through the island or whatever it is, and the Isle, and these guys are hitting 200 miles an hour on streets that people drive on every day. And I think there's more fatalities in that race than there are it's the most it's the most dangerous race.
Oh my goodness,
out there.
Yeah,
but it's just you do it at your own risk, and if you win or make it out, and I guess we're recognized. Right. It's probably one of the coolest feelings ever I could imagine. But
it's kind of interesting because I remember when I was in high school, we lost 6 seniors that year. It was my senior year. One was a rodeo accident.
Oh, really?
And while it's tragic, and you certainly wouldn't want my son or daughter to die that way, they died doing something they loved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So did you ever seen the people that you know, or at least tangentially know, that died doing the sport that they just loved?
Not really.
Yeah.
I haven't seen too many people doing that.
Right. You've seen injuries, but not.
Yeah, I've seen injuries, not fatalities though.
Right.
It's like I've seen some really bad injuries racing motocross, but no, I haven't. But I feel like if you're gonna go, you might as well be doing something you enjoy,
that you love.
At least you're not living with any regrets. You're not holding back. You're living life to the fullest.
Right. So where did you get this philosophy?
Really
did you get this from your dad or your mom?
It's
or grandparents or
I don't know, my
siblings.
Well, my dad was a business owner. He did all right. He did pretty well for himself. And, he tried to give us as many opportunities as we could.
Sure.
And, I think the worst thing was sitting on the sideline and not doing anything, I feel like my dad always pushed us to do stuff.
Right.
No matter what it was.
Right.
Even if it was something that wasn't that cool, but it was the only thing we could do at the time. Right. Just participate in it. Yeah. See if you like it. See if you don't like it. And, if you don't like it, don't do it again.
Right.
But, try everything once. And I think he probably got me started on that probably when I was a kid, probably eating food. It was like,
eating food?
it was like, kind of like, your kid, you don't want to eat your broccoli or something like that. Right. So he's like, at least try it once. And then if you don't like it, I won't make you eat it.
Right.
And that kind of carried through life into, sports and athletics or, whatever it was that we were doing, wood shop, anything like that.
Right.
And so I try to always give something a chance no matter what it is. And
right.
I feel like that's the way to live life. The more you know about, the better off you are.
Absolutely.
So, what's that saying? Knowledge is power, ignorance is bliss. So, I feel like get your hands as dirty as you can,
Sure. What's the biggest challenge you've ever come across when you've done any of these sports?
Any of these sports?
Anything. Yeah, any sport, any activity. What is the biggest challenge? Is it mental? Is it physical? What is it?
I'd say it's probably the biggest challenge is trying to get this business off the ground right now.
Why is that?
The search engine optimization. It's just, I feel like it's mental a lot because I want to provide the best service I can.
Of course.
Okay, and the way I was taught to do something, I was taught to do the job once and do it right.
Right.
Okay, so I really want to make sure that what I'm providing is the best, and that I'm getting the best results that I can for the customer.
Right.
So when I'm doing this, when I was getting it started up, I was focusing so heavily on, testing, ranking my own pages,
right.
Making sure that, I can do this for whoever whoever I sign up. Right. And it was a big deal because, you're asking these people for real money.
Right.
And,
and you want to provide a good product.
Exactly.
You don't want to just take their money. Yes.
So I think it was the nervousness of actually it's like, whoa, holy cow, like I'm doing business,
Right.
And I'm providing something someone needs and they're paying me for it. And,
yes.
It's just.
Once you've exchanged that dollar, it makes a difference. In fact, even here,
it does.
We're a nonprofit, but people say, "Oh, you're a nonprofit," and they kind of dismiss you. So no, we take real dollars.
Yeah.
And if we take real dollars, that's an implicit contract to provide some kind of service,
yes,
right?
Sir.
And you want to provide the best service you can, whether it's $1, $10, $100, or whatever.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yeah. You don't want a bad reputation.
No, absolutely not, because that's
all you have.
That spreads like wildfire. You got a bad reputation. Sir. Oh my goodness, amazing. Sir. No, your dad brought you right. See, you want to provide quality service. So absolutely, you want to do the right thing. That's an Aggie thing too, right?
Of course,
we're gonna do it
right. Yeah, but it's just I think the mentality behind it is it's like, holy cow, I'm doing this.
Yes,
and it's not a physical product that you can see, or it's not tangible at all.
Right.
It's something you see online. You can see some numbers.
Right.
But it's just you really want to make sure you're doing it right, and it's really nervous because at the end of the day, it comes down to it. Money changes hands, and there's scam artists out there that do that every day. They tell you to give them money, and then they walk out the door, and it's just. Right. I just put so much emphasis on making sure that I can do it right, and it's in your head because you're learning, and you're having to motivate yourself to do this on your own.
Yes,
and there's no reason to do this. I could work at Carrier for the rest of my life,
sure,
and make a good living. But
it's it's different because and it's not everyone has their own personality, and you need to understand that, right? Some people just want to be told what to do, and that's fine. Yeah. They're cool with that. Fine. And there are people they're always looking like Hunter. I said they're always looking for that next challenge.
Yes, sir.
I want to challenge myself. What can I do more? And once you get there, it's not enough. Because that's okay. You want to just keep growing and growing. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely.
Yes, sir. I feel like it's a primal instinct, You just gotta go for more. So,
You got sucked into theater, and I know how it is. You don't be a theater widow. You got to see your girlfriend or spouse, whatever, and they're in theater. Oh, okay, I guess I'll do that too. But I think you're having a good time. I'm having a pretty good time.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I'm having a blast doing the show.
Right.
I'm the UPS guy. So I get to walk.
He gets the music to play. Yeah.
Joke around, have a little more fun than some of the characters do. And I'm having fun with it. It's fun. Like I said, try everything once.
Yeah.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah.
And it's a good time. I did dabble around in a little bit of theater in middle school. I was actually in a theater class in 7th grade.
Yeah.
And we put on The Music Man, and I guess before this, I may have been in some elementary school plays. I don't know, but I feel like every kid was. So I don't remember them if I was.
Okay, not that memorable. Okay,
but so I was in 7th grade, and we were putting on The Music Man, so I was required to try out because I was in this theater class, and I go and I look for all the results, and I was like, kind of excited, but I wasn't still the biggest theater person, and so I was like, all right, cool, what part did I get? And I go up there, and I'm looking at the list. I'm looking down, trying to see if I see my name on there, and I don't see anything.
Oh.
All right, so I'm like, I kind of got down. I was like, I thought I would have got something, you know? But nothing.
It's the hardest thing,
So I don't show up to practice.
Right.
All right.
Well, because your name's not on there,
because my name's not on there, right?
Right.
So I don't show up to practice.
Right.
I get a call.
Yeah.
Asking where I'm at.
Yeah.
Because I'm in the play. Or the musical.
Yes.
And
so why wasn't your name on the list?
Turns out my name was on the list. and somehow I overlooked it, or I don't know if it was written. I never saw the list after
Right.
that, but
Right.
apparently I was on there and I was part of it, and I got in trouble for not showing up. So after that, they put me in the tech crew, and I ended up doing the spotlights for the show.
Right.
Which, I mean, that was fun. I
Right.
had a good time, but I was kind of like, I was like, kind of makes you realize you gotta, double check things once in a while and make sure that don't let anything pass you, because I actually was in it. So this is really my first show ever. But it's cool. So.
Cool. Well, we're glad to have you. Glad you had a good time. It's a pretty good cast. It's been a good cast. It's been a lot of fun. It's kind of interesting. Like Michael. There. We didn't consider this our kind of show. You don't really think of guys in the show. But we had a great time. Music's really high energy and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, this Legally Blonde. I mean, you think Pink whenever you hear it, but it has some good humor in it. And,
absolutely.
It definitely keep
It's actually some interesting guy roles with that one.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like Austin gets to do basically what I call the Hugh Grant kind of role. Kind of the awkward kind of guy. And in some ways, a lot of us kind of think of ourselves that way. We're just kind of the awkward. We're not the real handsome, whatever. But we kind of get along. And so there's actually some things to relate to too. But great music, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you keep a journal or a blog or anything like that?
No, not currently. I'm about to start a new blog, but it's more about taking a business from the start to the end, and kind of.
But that's a current thing. But I guess, but the things that you work, like you say, you obviously you work on rebuilding engines and stuff like that. Can you look at something that you worked on years ago, and see, I guess, the earlier Tim there in that, and go like, oh, that was really great, or ooh, I could have done this differently.
Oh yeah, I look back on stuff and see how you could have done it better. Or
right.
It's like, I kind of skimped out there.
Right.
Or, I didn't have the insight to know that I should put this detail into it, and it would have, I did a good job.
Right.
But if I added this detail and went just a little bit further, it would have been, just stand out and amazing.
So what would you tell that earlier Tim? Note to self. What would you tell him?
I'd probably sit there and whenever I'm working out and stuff like that, you have to stay motivated.
Sure.
So I tell myself, I'm like, I talk to myself in my head constantly. Yeah. And I just tell myself, come on, Tim, you're better than that. Don't give up now. If you give up now, you're just like everybody else. And I'm just trying to, make sure that I motivate myself to keep going and, not quit. Because, I mean, when that alarm clock goes off at 5:30 a.m., I could hit snooze. I could just,
Sure you could.
Go back to sleep. But I do, occasionally I miss it. But I do a pretty good job of hitting it every day. And, I just try to tell myself, I'm like, come on, don't be like everybody else. Don't be like the average guy that's going to go out there and, he's going to say you're mopping the floor or something. And it's like, okay, cool. I could mop it real quick, or I could mop it and get in all the corners and all this stuff. And, and you're at that point a lot where, you could stop and it'd be fine and nobody would say anything.
Right.
But when I'm there, I get to that point and I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I can't stop. I want us to do this because I don't want to hear it from anybody that says I didn't get in that corner and there's some dirt there.
Right.
I just tell myself, you're better than that. Mm-hmm. Keep going. I could stop now, or I could stop in 2 minutes.
Yes.
And I could, get all the details done. Right. There's no reason to go, lay down and watch TV or whatever you want to do.
Right.
There's if you have the time to finish the job and you're awake, you have the energy to do it. Right. So you might as well do the job right. So
wow. Yeah. You ever get to watch TV? It doesn't sound like you have any time to do that.
I like watching TV, but I don't watch too much. We actually just got done watching Prison Break.
Okay.
And that show was addicting. So I've been watching that, and right now I'm kind of like, okay, cool. I don't have to watch TV for a little bit, and I can work on this other stuff.
Right.
But no, I don't watch too much TV. Hopefully, in the future I'll have some more time to do that.
You're not missing too much. Although every now and then, there's some series. Like I said, Michael got me into Person of Interest, and so we kind of binged watched it. But when we hadn't seen anything, and then basically a couple of weeks ago, before we started Legally Blonde Tech, we kind of pick it up when we go, and so go through. And it's kind of nice to binge watch some of those things, kind of catch up. It's a way just to relax a little bit, stuff like that. But for the most part, there really ain't a whole lot on TV that worth watching. You sound like a doer, and it's a whole lot more fun doing than watching.
Yes, sir.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I feel a lot better,
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the day, when I'm going to sleep, it's like I did something today.
You did something,
and
right?
I feel a lot better going to bed saying that instead of saying I could have done something.
Right.
So that's the way I try to keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I know we got to get ready for rehearsal. Actually, we got performance coming up tonight.
Yeah, we got a show tonight.
We got a show. It's going to be good.
Y'all are missing out if you're not here.
You're missing out.
If you're not here.
Yeah, that's right.
Y'all should be.
You should be. Yeah, absolutely. If heaven exists, what do you want God to say when you get to the pearly gates?
I want to say you killed it.
You killed it!
I want to say you killed it, yeah. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah.
And could you done this when you rebuilt that engine? You could have done a little more performance if you done
Yeah. Give me a little tips. Give me some pointers. Tell me what I could have done better. Tell me what I could have done better, Lord. I'll take it. So, one of these days we'll be there. One of these days. So, I'll hear it from him.
Tim, thank you so much for being with us.
No, thank you.